the Cleveland Browns after sabotaging Shedeur Sanders in his rookie season, and he never ever wanted Shedeur Sanders to be a part of that team. We all know that. So he was a hot commodity on the coaching carousel, which made no sense to a lot of people. But Kevin Stefanski was a commodity on the coaching carousel. And
was the first interaction with Stefanski a phone call or in person?
The first one was a phone call. I don't even know if he was in Atlanta yet. I think he was still trying to move all his stuff. So he called me like that same day, and we had a conversation.
Can you take me into the conversation? I don't want to know the details, but I guess I want to know the dominant feeling that you had, the feeling you had after talking to him.
No, it felt great. I feel like for him, for me, I feel like I'm a family-oriented guy, and
Penix's confidence is growing every single day. And this is something that we knew in the pre-draft process. There was one thing that nobody bashed Michael Penix on, was his leadership. Everybody knew that coming out of Washington, this guy, if he was anything, it's the fact that he's a leader of men.
Kevin Stefanski just touched down in Atlanta, and just like that, he's flipping open the exact same blueprint he used in Cleveland. The very same coach who was accused of giving Shedeur Sanders the wrong plays on his wristband, leaving him behind an offensive line that couldn't protect a folding chair, while dialing up soft, easy screens for Dillon Gabriel as Shedeur got crumbs. Yeah, that guy. And now that same figure is in Atlanta, and before a single training camp snap has even happened, insiders are whispering that the Falcons are already exploring a replacement for Michael Penix Jr. Let that sink in. Meanwhile, everything leaking out of the building says Penix wants absolutely no part of Stefanski. Does that ring a bell? Because we literally watched this same script unfold in Cleveland, scene by scene. But here's the part that should really make you pause. The most unsettling piece of this isn't just what's unfolding with Penix. It's what this situation quietly confirms about what Stefanski may have intentionally orchestrated with Shedeur Sanders. Stay with me, because you won't believe how deep this rabbit hole actually goes.
Upgrade the quarterback position this offseason. Jason LaCanfora learned that it could be a possibility. So Falcons insiders already reporting this and breaking it down. Here it says, the Atlanta Falcons will enter the 2026 offseason with some questions at quarterback, and addressing the position is a critical priority for them. Michael Penix Jr.
People see a lot of guys in my class and seeing how well they're doing, and they look at it as like, oh, I'm not doing that well, and all these other guys are doing well, but we in totally different situations. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't look at it like that. I look at it as this. I'm still getting better each and every day, and I know that I didn't play as bad as I thought I did last year, and I didn't play as good as I thought I did, and it's always going to be like that, but for me, at the end of the day, it comes down to winning football games, and we didn't win enough to get us to where we needed to go.
All right, we need to rewind this all the way back to the start, because the timeline is the key that makes this whole thing snap into focus. And once you recognize the pattern, trust me, you can't unsee it. Kevin Stefanski gets dismissed in Cleveland, and let's be honest, plenty of people were confused when he instantly became a hot name on the coaching carousel, because from the outside, what exactly was he selling? He oversaw season after season of quarterback chaos in Cleveland. He watched Deshaun Watson unravel right in front of everyone. He stepped into a messy situation and somehow left it looking even worse. And yet, Atlanta still made the call. The contract gets signed, and suddenly Stefanski is entering a new building with a new quarterback, talking about a clean slate. Here's the problem. A clean slate doesn't mean much if the person holding the chalk hasn't changed, because what sources are outlining next is brutal. The second Stefanski arrived in Atlanta, the temperature around Michael Penix Jr. shifted, not slowly, not after weeks of evaluation in camp, instantly. Reports say NFL insider Jason LaCanfora learned the Falcons could already be exploring an upgraded quarterback this offseason, and the chatter coming from individuals plugged directly into the team's internal conversations isn't vague, it's pointed. The belief, according to that source, is that Atlanta isn't just hunting for a temporary placeholder while Penix rehabs his ACL. They're prepared to pursue a better option if one presents itself. They're quietly mapping out a future where Penix isn't QB1 in 2026 before training camp even opens, before one live snap, before he's had a real opportunity to operate inside Stefanski's system. Sound familiar? Because that is almost the exact blueprint we watched unfold in Cleveland with Shedeur Sanders. The decision felt made before the evaluation began. The verdict was in before the trial even started, and the quarterback stuck on the wrong side of that predetermined narrative never truly had a fair shot to prove he could elevate this team to the next level.
To that next step.
I'm very excited. I hear nothing but great things about the offense, and I'm super excited. I hear that this offense will definitely bring the best out of me and allow me to play very good football. So I look forward to it.
I love that. I want to ask you, you're candid, faith football, faith family football.
Yeah.
Tight at the top, family and faith, I'm sure. You were so. I admire your eloquence in putting your thoughts out to the world.
And the source makes it crystal clear where this noise is originating from inside league circles. An unnamed general manager, someone from another franchise who will also be quarterback hunting this offseason and therefore has every incentive to monitor Atlanta closely, was quoted flat out saying the Falcons are searching for a starting quarterback. He said he's certain they plan to be involved in every major QB conversation that pops up this offseason. And then he dropped the sentence that should honestly rattle every Falcons fan watching this unfold. It's not good there with Penix. Not good with Penix, and this is before the season, before training camp, before Stefanski has even conducted one real practice with him. An executive from outside the building is already sensing that the Stefanski-Penix dynamic is fractured before it even had oxygen. Now, here's where this pivots directly back to Shedeur Sanders in a major way, because the source ties it together without hesitation. The host lays out what the alleged Cleveland sabotage supposedly looked like behind the scenes. Incorrect plays programmed into Shedeur's wristband, an offensive line that couldn't protect anyone, Dillon Gabriel receiving quick screens and manufactured stat padding throws, while Shedeur was thrown into a dysfunctional system with zero safety net. The source doesn't label it incompetence, it calls it intentional, calculated sabotage of a quarterback Stefanski reportedly never wanted in the building. And Michael Penix Jr. witnessed all of it. He saw how Cleveland unfolded in real time. He watched a young quarterback get quietly undercut by the same coach who was now in his facility, either refusing to define his future or worse, avoiding the conversation altogether. Penix isn't clueless. He's an NFL quarterback. He understands body language. He sees the reports. He recognizes what it sounds like when a front office publicly plays neutral while privately exploring alternatives. And the source is blunt. Penix doesn't want Stefanski. The tension reportedly goes both ways. This situation felt cracked before the first handshake. But here's the twist. The most telling moment in this entire saga isn't the insider intel. It's not the anonymous GM quote. It's not even the chatter about Atlanta preparing for a Penix-less 2026. The real tell was what Atlanta's new GM, Matt Ryan, said, or more importantly, what he strategically refused to say when directly questioned about Michael Penix Jr.
Neither of us are the head coach of the football team, so we can't answer your question on that. But I think all of us are going to get together, and we're, excited about Mike and what he's doing with his rehab. I've been up at the facility the last, 3 weeks.
Go back and watch that Matt Ryan press conference one more time, because the analysts in the source perfectly capture why it matters. Matt Ryan, the greatest quarterback in Falcons history, a guy who knows better than almost anyone what it takes to feel fully backed by your organization, stepped to that podium and delivered the most careful, non-committal, every word measured answer imaginable when asked about his starting quarterback. He didn't say, Penix is our guy. He didn't say, we can't wait to see him when he's healthy. He didn't say, we believe in him and we're building around him. Instead, he talked about being excited for Penix's rehab, mentioned discussions about the roster, and then punted the real quarterback question straight to Stefanski. The analysts point out why that matters. Non-answers at pressers are telling. When a team truly believes in their QB, they say it outright, loud and clear. When they're buying time, keeping options open, avoiding a commitment they aren't ready for, they talk rehab, roster, and defer to the coach. That's not confidence, it's a polished absence of confidence. One analyst hits the crucial context. Matt Ryan is GM in part because of previous regime decisions. $100 million spent on Kirk Cousins, an early draft pick on Penix the same offseason, and that created the exact scenario Atlanta is now wrestling with. So Ryan arrives with no preloaded loyalty to Penix. He's evaluating cold, and what those fresh eyes see, Stefanski in the building, insiders reporting the temperature, isn't enough to declare Penix the unquestioned starter. Now here's the part that loops back to Shedeur Sanders. Sit with this for a second. Everything happening to Penix in Atlanta is actually making Sanders' story hit harder by the day. Watch the pattern. Stefanski leaves Cleveland, lands in Atlanta, and within weeks the same narrative emerges with a new quarterback. Insiders report dysfunction, the GM delivers non-answers, an outside GM is already signaling trouble, and internally the expectation is clear. Atlanta is actively preparing to shop for a starting quarterback.
Post that.
Yeah, that's just how I was feeling. You know, I see some people trying to twist it up and make it seem about whatever Matt Ryan said in his special before, but because of the timing of it. But I'm not an overthinker. I don't really think too much about that. I don't play the whole media game and stuff like that, social media game. But I just posted because that's what I was feeling. You know, I feel like I've been through a lot in my journey to get to where I'm at today, and it's a lot of stuff that I don't say out loud, and I just express it through that post. And
This is not random. This is a coaching identity revealing itself for the second time in a row, and what it proves is crystal clear. The Cleveland problem was never Shedeur Sanders. The real issue was a head coach who didn't believe in his quarterback, didn't want to build around him, and refused to create the environment a young QB actually needs to grow and win in this league. Sanders survived all of that. He wrestled the starting job away from Dylan Gabriel midway through his rookie season, despite playing behind one of the worst offensive lines in football. He earned public endorsements from Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, and Defensive Rookie of the Year Carson Strong. He showed week-to-week growth according to the most trusted voices inside that locker room. He accomplished all of that while navigating a system the source says was actively designed to hold him back rather than help him develop. And now Stefanski lands in Atlanta running the same playbook on a new quarterback. Only this time, the league is paying attention. Other GMs are watching. Insiders are watching. And every single report coming out of Atlanta is confirming what Shedeur Nation has been saying from the start. The issue was never the quarterback in Cleveland. The issue was the coach who never wanted him there. Here's why this matters so much for Cleveland's 2026 season. Stefanski is gone. Todd Monken is in, a coach who says failure isn't even in his vocabulary, who the source says is a genuine believer in Shedeur Sanders, and who arrived with a winner's mindset and a clear plan to build something real rather than just manage mediocrity. The infrastructure still needs work. The offensive line remains a glaring obstacle for Shedeur's development, but the biggest cancer in that building, the coach who never wanted Sanders and allegedly did everything to make him fail, has been removed. And where did he go? Straight to Atlanta, starting to sabotage a new quarterback's career within weeks. Michael Penix Jr. saw what happened to Shedeur Sanders. He watched Cleveland unfold in real time. He knows exactly what a Stefanski-led sabotage looks like because we all did. And now he's expected to show up every day and operate in a system run by the same man, while insiders are already reporting the team is looking for his replacement before he's even thrown a practice pass. That's not a quarterback competition. That's a conclusion already written, dressed up as an evaluation.
The other thing too is like he tore his ACL. Like he might not be ready to start the season, so it might not be a commentary on where he stands healthy in the pecking order.
Right.
He may just not be ready to start the season as well.
No,
so whether
but
that leads to
I push back on that because while you're correct, he may not be ready to start the season. The answer there is like, look, he's still a long way to go in his rehab, but we believe in Michael Penix whenever he's healthy, and we hope.
The Falcons made a critical misstep the moment they hired Kevin Stefanski. Not because he's a bad guy, but because everything we're seeing from Cleveland, from the source, from every insider leak coming out of Atlanta, points to a coach whose relationships with quarterbacks he didn't handpick are fundamentally broken. He didn't choose Shedeur Sanders. He didn't choose Michael Penix Jr. And in both cases, the story is the same. Cleveland got lucky. Shedeur survived it. Now under a new coaching staff that actually wants him, with a locker room that publicly believes in him, and an organization that, if it addresses the offensive line properly, could finally give him the infrastructure he deserves, the 2026 season is on a completely different field than anything Shedeur faced in year one. The proof isn't in Cleveland anymore, it's in Atlanta, unfolding in real time for the whole NFL world to witness. So here's what I need from you in the comments, and I want honesty. Now that you can see the Stefanski pattern replaying itself in Atlanta with Michael Penix the same way it did with Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland, does it change how you view what Shedeur actually accomplished in his rookie year? And do you think Penix can survive the Stefanski era in Atlanta, or is he already fighting a battle he can't win, no matter how strong his rehab goes? Drop every take below. This comment section is about to explode, and I want to read every single one. Kevin Stefanski didn't just leave Cleveland. He carried his entire quarterback blueprint to a new city, and within weeks, the league is watching the same story unfold with a new cast. Michael Penix sees it, insiders see it, outside GMs see it, and Shedeur Sanders, the young man who survived it once, came out stronger, still growing, still earning elite respect in his locker room, never has to endure it again. Cleveland dodged a bullet. Shedeur dodged a bullet. And if you want to stay locked on every twist as the Atlanta situation explodes and Shedeur's 2026 season builds into something real, hit that subscribe button now. We're just getting started, and this story is nowhere near finished.